G'day guys, and welcome to another episode of the Beginner Series. And as you can see here, we have finally made it into our R5. Now we did manage to go straight from GB12 into R5, so let's finish up this last run of the 10 run here, and then I'll have a quick look and show you guys exactly how I did it, the runes that I've got on all the units that we're using here, and just how you can progress through as well. Now you can see here the bale damage so far is only up to about 25,000. Let me show you why, and let me show you and I'll explain to you why that is actually still enough damage if you can find two other people that can just do a little bit more. But most people these days do well above the 32,000 that you need, because people already had their bales doing that prior to getting artifacts, and then when they put artifacts on them. So let me go through now and I'll just show you. Now I've opted for a high crit rate bale with the minimum of 81 crit rate. This allows me to take the 19% crit rate global lead, and then offers either the global 33 attack lead as well as the fire 40% attack lead out of Shiwa. This is the way I found to get the most value out of your bale. You get the most damage out of him without having to have the two crit rate leads. This also allows me to use bale in other areas of the game that I won't have the two crit rate leads with, and still be very, very viable in those sections as well. So this is why I've opted for the high crit rate bale here, instead of going for the usual like 60 crit rate where you then have to bring the two crit rate leads. So I've opted for this one. You can go the other way if you know that the people you're going to be raiding with are going to be on the lower crit rate as well and have the two crit rate leads. Well, then you can just adjust your bale accordingly. So the most important thing I think is to try and find a couple of people that you know you're going to be able to raid with, either some guildies, or if you have a main account, that works as well. But otherwise, if you are going to be going through just the public pickup groups, typically they all do have the two crit rate leads, so you can actually just get more damage out of him if you do lower that crit rate down and put more crit damage, more attack, more of everything else basically. Now let me show you the runes. So this was the plan, right? This was always the plan from the start. We were always just going to build a fatal bale. I thought it'd actually take a little longer than what it did. We're currently just ticked over the 24-day mark now. I thought it would take a little bit longer, but I was actually surprised by the low rune quality that is required to actually still do this, even with a fatal set. So let me just show you the runes that we've got on each slot here. Obviously we're going for an attack, crit damage, attack bale with an attack slot 2, crit damage slot 4, and attack slot 6. But you can see here, like this rune here is a blue quality. It's blue. This one I think is one that they give you. This one here is the only legendary rune that I have on him. Because we are able to farm B12 in Giants now, like we're getting really good runes all the time. Yes, this is a legendary rune, but you'll get some of these. You may not get this rune on this particular slot, obviously, but you'll get something somewhere eventually. You might be able to do it a little bit faster than me. You might be able to take a little bit longer, but it shouldn't take too much longer than what I was able to do it to get a set good enough to build your bale and get started. The next one here is another crit damage rune. Now this is the only rune that I actually have put any gems and grinds on. I was waiting to do that until the video to show you guys that I haven't got any gems or grinds on this bale yet at all, and still able to get through, except for this one, because this one here, the game gives you a HP gem and a HP memorial grind. I'll show you where after the bale to put on. So I put it on here. They both rolled incredibly low. They're heroes, so a maximum of 11 with the gem and 7 with the grind, and I got a 7 and a 4. So it's like really low rolls, but it was still enough to get through. And now this rune here, this is a hero rune. However, it had one roll into accuracy, which I've now gemmed out for HP. So this effectively as well is another blue rune. This will rune here, this is a hero rune. Now, this is one of the ones that we crafted. So while we're farming GB12, you are getting some crafting materials to go and craft a few will runes. I've done about 40 or 50 or something like that, and just found a couple that were good enough. And then I built the set around those two will runes. And you can see here, like no gems and grinds on this one. This one here, this is another hero one here, so but again no gems and grinds. And then this one at the top here is another blue rune. So all in all, we have effectively 3 blue runes, 2 hero runes, and 1 legend rune on this bale, with no gems, no grinds, and we're still hitting around the 26,000 damage mark, with only an 18% attack lead from Lauren. So I did do some testing yesterday with the proper 2 leads, a 40 fire lead and a 33 attack lead, and we actually hit up around the 27,000 mark. Now, the reason we're still hitting a little bit low is my Bale isn't skilled. So we're not even skilled yet. I've still got another 15% damage to add on top here, which is going to be close to now around another like 3,500 on top of what we're doing. So just once he's fully skilled, we're already up around very close to the 30,000 mark. And I'll show you the other areas that I've got to improve here as well. So when there's heaps of improvements that we can still do with this. Like I said, no gems, no grinds on this, so we'll be definitely doing those. The other two things that I just want to quickly show you, the artifacts. We can start farming artifacts too. So once you've got your rune set for your Bale ready to go, that's when you need to swap over and start farming some artifacts and start getting those. I've already shown you can farm Steel Fortress 10 with the Dots team with a Vero lead, and I can farm reliably Punisher's Crit 8. I can't do 9 or 10 100%, so I don't bother about it. I farm in 8, and you still get blue and hero drops from there anyway, so which is all you're really looking for. All you're looking for right now is blue artifacts. So on the left side, you want to be targeting an attack up effect. So this one here is only got one roll into it, so it's actually like pretty weak. It's not even a max roll. So this one here, a blue, is a upgrade for Bale right now. And on the right side here, I did get lucky here, and I got a max skill 3 crit damage, but with a defense main stat. So an upgrade for this, once I have gems and grinds on Bale, I won't need as much effective HP as, like, I'll get extra effective HP than what I've currently got. So I could drop this defense for an attack artifact with the same crit damage eventually. But for now, like, this is really, really great to get started with. So you still get artifacts like this. Like I said, this was farmed from level 8 of Punisher's Crypt. So you will still get artifacts from there that drop, that are good enough, more than good enough for you to use on your Bale to get into R5. So start farming some of those once you have his rune set complete. The other units that we've got here, so this is some of the other ones that I was saying that we can get some upgrades. You can see here on my Shiwa, I don't even have full fight runes because I just do not have, let me just show you, I just don't have a fight rune left in these slots at all. So she doesn't need any quality. They can be white, they can be 1 star. But I just haven't got them yet. So I've been doing lab, looking for fight runes everywhere. Also, just what I haven't been doing, what I probably should have been doing earlier on, is keep an eye out for in the shop and just grab any fight runes, because like I said, it doesn't matter. Any slot 2 and any slot 5 right now would do the job, and that'd just be that little bit extra attack percent and more damage for our Bale right now. So this is an upgrade that I'm going to be able to do very, very easily and in the near future as well. The next one we have here is the Dagora. So he is on a double fight wheel. He doesn't really need any stats either, so he's pretty easy to rune. He's just sort of there. The only thing you want with him is the Dagora Insurance, which is basically you want him speed tuned in front of your Jansen. So if your Bale takes a turn and there isn't enough damage to trigger the mid boss or to kill the boss at the end there, your Dagora will take a turn, and then just allows that little bit extra time to get a bit more damage out before your Jansen does his revive too early. So just make sure that he's speed tuned just in front of your Jansen. That's the only requirements with your Dagora. Next, we'll look at the Jansen here. So now he's another one that could be upgraded in the future with a couple of fight runes here. I was unable to get like enough fight runes. So what I really need is a big HP slot 2 fight rune here. So for now, he's just on the 1 fight set with the will and the energy, and just tanky enough to survive. Basically, that's all you really need him to do. And then a minimum speed. It's usually a minimum speed, I think, of plus 25, but because I don't have speed towers done, I've had to put a little bit more speed on all of my units here, just so we don't get cut, and just so the boss doesn't, what was happening initially, the boss was taking 2 turns before I was going, so I've just had to bump everybody's speed up just a little bit, just to sort of cover that. The next one that we have here is the Colleen. Now I did manage to get her onto a double fight will set, which is good. So you can see here I'm using 5-star runes as well. So again, and this is, I think this is actually a white, no, it's a hero rune, but it may as well be white. There's like no there's no stats on this at all. It's like garbage, but we're just using it for the main stat. So even 5-star slot 2, 4, and 6 fight runes, defense percent and HP percent are really, really valuable. So definitely keep an eye out for those. But I think for just the first month or so in the game, like literally just buy every single fight rune that you can see in the shop and then pick up every fight rune opportunity that you've got when you're doing your lab as well. And then the same thing with Colleen. She's just got to be tanky enough to survive the first hit from the boss and then die at the jump here. So, and she also has to be fast enough that she moves first in front of everyone. That's the only requirements from Colleen. And then lastly is the Lauren. So Lauren has to be tanky enough to survive after the jump. You want her to be able to move before your Bale again after the dragon comes back down for the second hit. So she does need to be tanky enough to survive all hits from the boss, as well as be speed tuned between your Colleen and your Bale. That's the requirements out of her. Now you can see here, ideally, again, you want to be on a double fight will set. Don't have them. So we've just gone for a energy will broken set here with a just HP. I just went for the tankiest runes that I could possibly get, and then just slapped a couple of will runes on her just so she survives. That's it. That's all you need from her right now. Like I was saying earlier, the reason I can get away with this is because everybody's Bale now hits incredibly hard. I actually carry this ult through with my main account with just the one Bale. I do have a very, very hard hitting Bale because I have a special team with it, but I'll show you that when we get back into it. But everybody is basically like this, and if you ask a couple of your guildies, that's the best way I've found, is to ask a couple of guildies to just do some runs with you, just to get you some grinds, just to get up and running, at least until you can get your Bale gemmed and grinded, because then you will be hitting hard enough to go into a public group by yourself. You can wait a little bit longer too. You don't need to rush in like I have done here. You can just keep farming runes and get slightly better runes than blue runes. You can use max blue artifacts as well, and then obviously fully skilled would mean that my Bale actually would be hitting hard enough as well. Definitely once I've got the extra couple of fight runes. So all these little tweaks and little adjustments and that, if you can't find anyone to raid with you that has enough damage to carry you a little bit, that's okay. Just wait until you get these few improvements that I've just gone through done, and then you'll be able to carry yourself. You won't need to carry at all. Your Bale will definitely be hitting hard enough that you carry your own weight. Now, let me just show you real quick where I got the gems and grinds from. So someone actually told me about this yesterday while I was streaming. I didn't realize. So if you come to the events page over on the right here, go down to the game guide, and then go to the Tartarus Labyrinth tab here. Where they gone? There they are, because I've already taken them. So there's this thing here, Gift for Summoners. So you get a Memorial Hero HP Grindstone, and the same with a gem as well. So these are the only two grinds and gems that I have put on my Bale. Just to show you guys, I didn't want to put them on before showing you guys, because I wanted to show you basically the minimum requirements that was needed for my Bale. So when it comes to progression in Summoner's War, the biggest jumps that you get is, first of all, getting into any B12. It doesn't really matter which one it is, but any B12, because then you start collecting end game premium runes, the same quality of runes that people have been playing for 7 years are also collecting right now. The next biggest progression jump for you is actually getting into your R5, because then you have the gems and the grinds for all of those runes, and you can start to fully maximize the potential and really, really improve your account. So this is why I've decided to go straight from Giants into R5. It's the most efficient way to progress in terms of units needing to be built. All I've really got built right now is pretty much two teams. I have the Dots team, and now I have an R5 team. That's pretty much it. And then I have a few other units that I use and just sort of slot in to do some Toa and that sort of stuff with the Khaki and the Vigor, and I sort of use those to do some 2As. But that's basically it. Now, let me just show you guys the towers as well, because this is the other thing that you want to be doing. You want to be upgrading your towers. Now, when I first started, I didn't really know exactly which direction I was going to be going in. So initially I thought I was going to go from Giants and then build a Trikaru from there. So I started upgrading my defense tower. Now that I realized I didn't need to do that, I've swapped over and then started moving over to the crit damage tower, because I just want to get as much damage out from Bale as I can. You can see here it's only level 9. It's not crazy. It's pretty easy to get to level 9. You can do that honestly in like a couple of weeks. Once we get our Bale to that threshold of the 33,000 damage on the last hit, so we know we're carrying our weight in R5, then I'll swap over from doing crit damage and I'll move over to the speed tower. The reason that I want to do this is because this is the most important and the most beneficial one overall. And also, it's the best one to be doing to get into PvP. You could also, this is the point of the game now, where you can go in so many different directions. You could keep going with your Guardstone Tower, and now we do have grinds available. Building Trikaru is going to be really easy for us. So like I said, I'm probably going to be looking at building a Fatal Trikaru. That's I think the best one to be doing early on, because that way we can just keep farming giants for now as well. Alrighty, let me now just go on and put all the gems and grinds on Bale that we've currently got. I haven't got a heap because I've only been farming it for like just over sort of 12 hours now, but I'll put some gems and grinds on Bale, and then we'll jump back in and do another run of the R5, and we'll see exactly how hard it is hitting after I do that. Okay, so this is the Bale after I've done all the current gems and grinds that I've got on him. Now, because I was able to get some extra speed on a few of the runes, these ones here, once I put the speed grinds on these couple of runes here and I gemmed in speed here, it was enough speed then that I could actually swap out my slot 1 will rune. I didn't need the speed out of this slot anymore, and I've now used this higher crit damage rune here. So you can see here we've got a lot more crit damage now. We're actually a bit tankier than what we were, a little bit faster as well, and more attack overall. So let's jump back in now. We were doing before with my main account carry about the 25,000 mark on our last hit. So we'll jump back in now and we'll see how hard we're hitting. Okay, now so this is my main account here with the R5 team that I currently use, and all I've done is drop off one of the left side team here to slot in my Beginner Series Bale team. The reason that this one here is able to carry just like this without needing the third Bale team is because my Bale here, my Bale's okay. It's actually not insane. There's plenty that are way better than this Bale, but the reason that I can do it is because of the Deborah. The Deborah passive means that my Bale hits for effectively the same damage as 2 Bales. So because of that, I can carry like this. Like I said, I did do some testing and some running with some guildies and some friends of mine, and they were also able to carry through. In fact, it was actually easier and safer for them to carry me through with 2 traditional Bale teams rather than using it like this. But just for the purpose of the video and to show you guys, we'll just run it like this. Also, because I knew I had my main to do this, this is again why I opted for the higher crit rate Bale, because I knew this was going to be the teams that I was going to be bringing him into, with only the 1 crit rate lead and then only the small 18% attack lead out of Lauren on the middle team. But that's because of the Deborah. That's just the way it has to be set up and run. Again, usually for you guys, you're going to be having the fire attack lead, then the 2 crit rate leads if you get into a public group. So just figure out exactly who and how you're going to be raiding before you then go and build your Bale is sort of the advice I want to give you guys. So anyway, let's just get into it now and have a quick look and see how much damage we're doing. Okay, so he goes, kills the couple of units there. We get max stacks, attack buff on, defense break out, and we're now hitting for just over the 26,000 mark there. So just under 26,500. So we've jumped up about 1,000 damage overall. Just from those few gems and grinds, and I've still got plenty more to go. There's a lot of gems that I'm missing in terms of trying to gem in extra attack percent and things like that. So and you can actually see there, so because I have branding available in one of my teams as well, we sometimes get the branding on. So with the branding on, then we actually jumped up to 34,000 damage, which is actually above what you need in a traditional Bale team. So what that shows is branding adds 25% damage. We're missing 25% damage. Now, we already know that one of the skill ups on Bale is going to give us an extra 15% damage. So now we're only missing 10% damage from being able to not only carry our own weight, but actually above what we need. So those few extra fight runes, the few gems and grinds and that, we're really, really close to already being able to carry our own damage through and get into public groups. So just skill ups, that's the only thing I'm missing here. Now, as far as the next progression step that we're going to be looking at completing, the next thing we're going to do is Tower Hard. So I showed you earlier, I've just finished 2Aing my Spectra. I'm going to be working on a Thrain as well, and then we'll move on from there. So thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.